I've told people for years, it's not just that I like coffee, I actually have too much blood in my caffeine system. When I was a cigarette smoker, I used to tell people, I don't smoke, the cigarette does, I'm just the sucker at the other end. The extent of my medical training is encompassed in two phrases. Number one, if it hurts when you do like that, don't do like that. And number two, it'll feel better when it stops hurting. I'm Irish American, and growing up as a child, when people would ask me what nationality I was, my father was very quick to point out, "You're Irish," because he was 99 and 9/10% Irish. But the fact of the matter is, my mother was born and raised in Aberdeen, Scotland. She was a war bride, came over on the Queen Mary process through Ellis Island, and it wasn't until after my father passed away that my mother became the strong influence that she was. And having come from Scotland and lived in Chicago for many years, she had lost most of her brogue, unless the relatives came down from Canada, and then it became a bit thicker. Or when she got mad. Oh, when she got mad, the brogue started getting thick. And you knew you crossed a line with my mother when she would look at you and say, "I'm gonna malacruise you." We didn't know what it was, but we knew we didn't want it to happen, and we knew it was something bad. Well, when my brother was about 35, he finally looked at my mother and he says, "Mom, I gotta know, what does malacruise mean? Does it mean like impaling, disemboweling, something medieval or something?" And she just looked at him and she said in a thick brogue, "It doesn't mean a thing, but it get your ass in line." You know, life is hard, and while I really have to emphasize to people that I'm not a Bible thumping holy roller that shoves religion down one's throat, I have to tell you, over the past 4 or 5 years, I've come to get much closer to God. We talk on a regular basis, and we're on a first name basis. I call him God, he calls me Rob. And that's one thing I've never figured out. If you talk to God, it's called prayer. But if God talks to you, you're called crazy. Well, God does talk to me all the time. I hear it in the back of my head. I hear it, the conscience that I have, the thing that tells me right from wrong, down in my soul. It's the Holy Spirit talking to me. And especially over the past few years, I've gone through some rough times. There's no doubt about that. But I always take heart in the fact that God has a plan for me. And I'm waiting for that plan and trying to be patient, although I've learned not to pray for patience because every time I pray for patience, God just gives me another way to practice. And that's rough. Now I'm praying for the wisdom to understand the fact that something good is only going to happen in His time. And God, I'm going to say this out loud. Please let it be your time soon. You know, actually, my prayer used to be, "God grant me patience," but do it today, okay?